Today is all talk on what life is like living with a narcissist. Now, one of the things that takes place when you live with a narcissist is your stress levels. They go through the roof. Your cortisol levels are at all-time highs along with your adrenaline. You experience things like hair loss, weight gain, heartburn, headaches, and digestive issues. Basically, your overall health just plummets. When we're in a relationship with a narcissist, our nerves are completely shot. We're always walking on eggshells because we never know what it is that's going to set them off. And because of that, we never get to express our feelings. We never get to ask for what it is that we want, because doing so could perhaps be hell on earth. And not only in that moment, but sometimes for days, weeks, and sometimes even for months of silent treatment, their wrath somehow, leaving your head spinning. You don't know what the heck hit you. You just ask for one simple thing. And even choosing to not express anything at all, never complaining and remaining quiet, you're still walking on eggshells, because if they experience something unfavorable at work, like their boss perhaps not being nice to them or something, or a coworker getting recognition, or even something as small as a text message that they sent to someone and they didn't get a reply, they're going to come home with a cold, hard look on their face looking for a fight, and you are the target. And then you're going to ask them, what's wrong? And they're going to tell you that, of course, nothing's wrong, right? But that harsh look on their face and the hatred in their eyes tells you a whole different story. The coldness of their allure, it leaves you with chills, and you know it's a matter of time before they are going to be jumping down your throat, where you'll be shred to pieces both mentally and emotionally. So you're once again walking on eggshells. And so you end up trying to please them like they deserve it, right? But you're pleasing them any way you can because you're trying to survive, survival mode. You're trying to both avoid their wrath and also survive by doing all kinds of favors for them, so that there's a chance that you might not get put down that day. When you live with a narcissist, you don't have rights. You don't have the right to defend yourself. You don't have the right to have opinions. Your opinions will be mocked, ridiculed, or argued with. You don't have the right to have a clean home. You don't have the right to talk about the subjects that are of interest to you. You don't have the right to say what bothers you. You don't have the right to be upset or hurt by the things that they have said or done to you. You don't have the right to spend time with them. You don't have the right to do what it is that you want to do. And that could be something as simple as painting your room, because you can't do what you want to do, and you can't do it when you want to do it. You don't have the right to peace or joy. Being in a relationship with a narcissist, you disappear. You are invisible. You don't matter except to be of service to them. You become somebody to be stepped on, pushed around, and discarded. And when you live with a narcissist, you are always discarded. And you feel alone all the time, because you are alone all of the time, even though they're under the same roof. And you can prepare the best meals and mow all of the lawns and take care of their vehicles, but there's going to be no recognition. If you cook, you'll be left to clean the kitchen as they return to their caves on their world of computers, communicating with anyone but you. And you spend your night alone again. I mean, of course, once in a while they join you, but they join you in a one-way conversation. And all they're doing is they're coming to you to fluff their tail with a topic that they deem interesting. They want supply. It's with the expectation that you're going to be impressed in order to fill them with the acknowledgement that they were hungry for. And once they're full, they return back to their caves, leaving no room for you to be heard on anything you'd like to talk about or share. And sometimes out of loneliness, you're the one that's going to go and join them in their caves and try to get some sort of human connection, only to be rejected by a cold, dark body language, leaving you feeling stupid, embarrassed, and in the way. Anybody can relate here? Let me know in the comments below. They just have a way of always making us feel weird. Then you'll ask them sometimes to go for a walk, little things like that, because again, you're just trying to connect. And the answer is always a simple no. Sometimes they might include you, though, in an outing only to either ignore you or embarrass you in front of everyone. And other times, they're going to be sweet and loving towards you in front of people. But as soon as you leave and get back in the vehicle with them, they become cold as ice, again, as though you don't even exist. So you're alone again. You don't have a social life because your life is so chaotic all of the time. You don't invite friends. They don't like your friends. They don't want your family around. They make you feel bad for wanting to hang out with them. They'll make you feel as though you have to choose. And as human beings, though, we need connection with others. And so when that gets taken away from us, we disappear. There's a feeling of hopelessness, and in desperation to survive, here we go again, right? So we find ourselves doing extra for them to at least have some form of connection with someone, anyone at this point. And the worst part, it doesn't even work. At best, we might get thrown a little cookie crumb. When you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you don't get to have communication in regards to issues within the relationship. You don't get to address the things that are bothering you like normal people have. Nothing ever gets resolved. Conversations are circular, leaving you exhausted and discouraged. And anything that you say gets twisted into things that you never said or meant. Anything that you confront them with gets projected back onto you, and it's your fault. It's always your fault. You get blamed for everything that they're doing. And conversations are dragged on, ending with you being stonewalled for days, weeks, and sometimes months. When you live with a narcissist, you lose your sense of self. You no longer believe that you're capable of accomplishing any goals because you've been told or shown too often how incompetent that you are. You feel worthless. You no longer believe in yourself. All of the triggers that you've had growing up, being told that you weren't good enough or made to feel that you weren't good enough, these triggers, they come back full force because they're re-traumatizing you. So you become really stuck. You no longer move towards the dreams that you once had. And besides, there isn't any time to achieve your dreams because you're too busy pleasing them in order to just survive. When you live with a narcissist, you become incapable of making decisions. Too often they tell you how wrong that you are in everything that you do or think. They're always demonstrating how much better that they are or that they know way more than you, and you end up feeling insecure and self-conscious. And then you doubt your own opinions. So how can you make decisions if you're always doubting your opinions? You no longer trust yourself to make the right decisions. When you live with a narcissist, you re-experience, like I just said, over and over again, the traumas that you experienced growing up. You get attacked anytime and every time that the narcissist deems it a good idea to unload all of their anger towards you. I mean, is that fair? Everything is always your fault. You are the scapegoat. Somewhere down the line, we have to agree to that in order for them to treat us that way. But for now, let's keep talking about this. You get punished for absolutely doing nothing wrong and then spend days not being spoken to. That's pretty mean. You get called the most horrific names and made to feel that you have no value, just like you felt growing up. You get yelled at and punished for feeling hurt or angry at the things that they've just done to you. You're not allowed to be upset, and you're expected to be in a good mood as soon as they decide that they want you in a good mood. You keep everything bottled up inside because the price that you pay for speaking up is way too high of a price to pay in their presence. So a lot of times you just say it's not worth it, and so you stifle. You're in survival. But ask yourself this: is it worth it to always live never being able to express? Often people living with narcissists end up having suicidal thoughts. The depression escalates to a point that they feel that there's no reason to get out of bed anymore. That's sad. When you live with a narcissist, you feel angry all of the time. I mean, resentment becomes a daily experience. And that's the opposite of love here. You're angry at your partner for all of the things that they've said and done. And it plays like a tape recorder over and over in your head. You can't let the thoughts go. Incessant thoughts. You wake up to these thoughts all the time. They're in your mind all day long. You're angry at yourself for putting up with it, putting up with all of their nonsense. You're angry at yourself for being weak and vulnerable. You're angry at yourself for laying down and being a doormat. You're angry at your family for judging you. You're angry at your friends for not understanding what you're going through when you don't even know what it is that you're going through. You can't understand it, and you can't understand it because the narcissist never lets you have the time to process. You're angry at the childhood that you experienced and how it was never your turn to be loved. You're even angry at God sometimes for not saving you. And all of this it's pretty heavy. And then you look in the mirror and you see a hard, weary face that's aged 10 years too early. You've forgotten what it was like to feel peace, to see beauty. You no longer remember what it feels like to smile. You become serious about everything all the time. When you live with a narcissist, you feel trapped. You don't move forward. You become stuck, paralyzed. You can't leave because they left you in a financial situation. You can't leave because now you believe that you can't make it on your own. You can't leave because you now believe that you're unlovable and you're going to spend the rest of your life alone. And so you're afraid to leave because you won't have anybody. Friends have left because either you've isolated yourself from them for so long that they've moved on, or the narcissist has turned them against you. You no longer have the support of your family because the narcissist has turned them into flying monkeys. You can't leave because of the children, or you can't leave because they've managed to add their name to your business, your house, your bank account, or your vehicle. But mostly, you can't leave because you have become trauma bonded. And we will address that in another video. I'll leave a link down below for anyone interested in learning about trauma bond or trauma bonding. You become trauma bonded by means of the narcissist using savior behavior while being the reason that you needed saving in the first place. And now because of this, you now experience cognitive dissonance with no available space to take the time to process and make sense of it all. When you live with a narcissist, there is no living. There is no existence of a human being. There's only a human doing. There's only daily life of efforts to survive. Life is a daily fight of trying to get through the day, trying to avoid the wrath of the narcissist, controlling any possible attacks of verbal abuse, accusations, and put-downs, or even just being ignored and rejected. You hide your very being in order to protect yourself from being mocked, shamed, and made to feel guilty. When you live with a narcissist, you don't get to be happy. That is not a living. That is a dying. And I decided to do this video today not to make you feel bad, but rather to awaken the severity of it all a little bit deeper in hopes to awaken something in you so that you may choose to live again, because there is life beyond narcissism and it is beautiful. I've seen it over and over again. All you have to do is choose you. Start there. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So that is all for today. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe and comment and share, or any one of them. So thank you for watching, and we shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.